Right, we're off. I've not even really said hi to each other. How are we, Gary?
Very well, mate. Very well. How are you getting on?
Good, mate. What episode is this? 13, is it?
This is yes, unlucky 13. Lucky for some.
Whose number is it?
Is that right?
Did I say evens or odds for me, mate? Who are...
Mate, I've not got a clue, but I did introduce last week, so do you want to take over?
Hello and welcome to Fit With Us, episode 13. Lucky for some, lucky for us. What's happening
You
there?
hear that?
Yeah, what's that?
Shut up.
Guess it's Bears intro.
Aye. Aye,
Maybe
Bert decided he's wanted to join in this week.
interject to me. What was I going to say? Um, how's your weekend been?
Very well, mate. My weekend's been very well. My weekend's been good. It's been quite chilled out. He's obviously heard something. I can't hear anything because I've got these big fucking air traffic controller headphones on. But my weekend's been good, mate. How's your weekend been?
I've just been flat, mate. I've just been flat out. It's been good, but it's just the pros of getting people started is the fact that obviously business is good, but the negatives are the fact I'm working every weekend at the moment. So I don't think I've had a day off since like December. But like I'm not complaining. It sounds like a complaint, but I
Aye.
swear that's not a complaint.
It's a good complaint to have.
Yeah, mate. I've got to say, every time that I feel sorry for myself, I just do think back to the times where I was like sitting in an empty gym with no clients and not sure how to get any. Going, yeah, okay, it's better than that, I guess.
Oh, absolutely, man, 100%. No, I'm delighted for you, mate, and it's good to see that you're obviously keeping busy and stuff because it's going to be just going to lead on to bigger and better things.
100%, mate. What was I going to say? Look, speaking of January, things getting going. I think we were on a call, one of our mentors during the week, and they were saying that there was a day last week that was National Quitters Day, where the majority of people have quit. So I think it's 8 out of 10 people in January have already quit their New Year's resolutions. My question, mate, is have you set any and have you stuck to them, or what's the happening on your side?
No, no,
No.
I didn't say anything because I knew fine well that I probably would have given up as well. So I decided just not to put myself through that because it's added stress, added unnecessary stress.
Yeah, 100%. I,
Um,
I wrote a few things up on my wall. I keep on talking about my wall that I'm writing on, but there are pieces of paper with disposable pens that I can. It rubs off. Don't worry, Jim would battle me if it didn't. But uh, I wrote a few things up on the wall for what I wanted to achieve in 2024, but it wasn't necessarily I need to restrict this in January or I need to do this. It was more so making sure I do more of the actions that are vote for those things and less of the actions that are going to detract me from it. So
mhm.
it's a decent framework there, but yeah, a lot of people have failed their New Year's resolutions. Hi Rachel, good to see you. A lot of people failed it,
She
yeah.
can't hear
No,
you.
I know, mate. I gathered that with your air traffic controller headphones on.
I completely agree with you. Like, rather than actually going all out for New Year, New Me, and all that nonsense, doing what you've done and just setting yourself, maybe I'm going to do more of this year and I'm going to do less of this year is probably the best way to go.
Yeah, 100%. Um, just on a slight sub note, mate, I'm aware that you've got the mic and the kit on. I am getting my shit together this week. I ordered a new mic, so I'm no longer going to sound like I'm in an echo chamber. I'll be sounding crisp as of next week.
Right. See, to be fair, you don't actually sound too bad in it, and it kind of shows up well, or it brushes up well. Is that the word I'm looking for? In the actual Spotify episodes as well. It's not too bad at all.
Yeah, no, the mic itself that I have, it's a camera with a mic attached to it. It's just because it's further away because it's naturally a camera. And also if you're looking at the video, I always look like I'm not actually looking at you, whereas I'm looking at my screen. It just always looks like I'm looking
Mhm.
down. But yeah, I'm going to fix it so that the mic is down at kind of voice level, so it just captures it a wee bit better. Not that anything I say is worthwhile anyway, but if I'm going to talk shite, you may as well hear it in 4K shite.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, is there anything you want to touch on this week, or we just want to shoot the shit for a 10,
Keyboard
15 minutes and then
Keyboard gangsters, mate. That's what we're sitting in. I seen that you and one of the boys that we know who's also in the fitness part of things got into a wee bit of a hustle and bustle with what would be referred to as a keyboard gangster. Over
Oh,
during the week. Do you want to
absolutely.
talk to us about what happened?
I seen people that listen to the podcast probably know who we're referring to here, Keane. I seen that he uploaded a story of getting some kind of not even hate, just shitty comments on a couple of Facebook reels. So I went on for a nosy and I messaged him and I was like, mate, the temptation to get involved is killing me. So he's like, do it. So I was like, do you know what? I could just be an absolute I could feel old Gary coming back. And I was like, oh, I just want to be fucking horrible. And then I was like, it's not going to look good in me. So I approached it sensibly, or um, as sensibly as I could. So yeah, it was basically what was it saying? I've written down the notes here. It was on Keane's reel saying tracking macros and high protein is a lot of crap. So I was just like, if you get the science to back that up, like where's the evidence to back it up? I'll wait. And instead of getting back to me straight away, being like, oh, here's the study, blah, 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 he ripped into my spelling because I spelled here wrong. I spelled it as in come here instead of let me hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't notice it until this morning, so I've actually just get back to him again. So he called me a
Jesus.
dipshit, called me a dipshit, called me a moron, and then he quoted some sort of meta-analysis of whatever it is he's been reading. A meta-analysis, for people that don't know about it, is basically just a study of studies. They put all these studies together, make one big kind of paper about it, and then release that. So he's quoted this meta-analysis, didn't link it. So this could have came from absolutely anywhere. So we don't know if it is actually a real meta-analysis or not. And then I think I got back to him quite sensibly, sent him again, I didn't link it because he didn't link me it, but I sent him just a reading from a paper that I'd actually been reading quite recently, and just responded to him. But you're going to get that no matter where you go. Like we call it bro science. If people haven't heard of bro science is basically just lifting advice from an unqualified bro who looks like or thinks he works out. And you're going to get it no matter where you post your stuff. You're going to get it on YouTube, you're going to get it on Facebook, you're going to get it on Instagram. Um, it's just absolute fucking dickheads thinking they know better, listening to Eddie Abu on Instagram, thinking that is gospel, and then just spouting it back at you, or spouting back what's what maybe worked for them once in the past. Doesn't mean to say it's going to work for every single person. So I was just being a bit of a cunt. There was a few more under Keane's reel as well, sorry, and I was so tempted, so fucking tempted, but I held myself back.
I I see it, mate. I was on it there. I had a look at them. I've got them up there at the moment. But yeah, mate, it came up on my Facebook. I didn't have a clue what happened, obviously, because you and Keane interacted with each other, and it said at Kyle. And I was like, what the fuck? Because the guy's name's Kyle. And I was like, I didn't get tagged in this. And it's like, how am I getting called a moron? What have I done? And then it turns out it's obviously this guy. But I did have a quick look into it, and yeah, Gary's right, 100%. Just because something works, and again, you'll always get exceptions to the rule. Like I was listening to something like Gaza, the footballer, a wee while ago, and it was like Gaza at halftime was having a terrible game, and they told him to go to the cabinet and get like 2 drinks of whiskey before he went back on the field. He went and scored 2 goals. Yes, that works
Aye.
for Gaza, but I say if you'd done that over the majority of 100 footballers and gave them pints at half time, you probably find that probably 2 out of 100 of them that might work for, and another 98. But if you gave those two like a keyboard and their own self bias as to how that works, then yeah, 100% they'd be spewing that works for them. But it's the same with anything. Like science is making sure things are repeatable over time, not just your own bro science. I love how he responded back to you by putting a picture back up of himself.
Mate,
He
three
did.
times I seen that photo. 3 times he sent that photo in.
He looks like a custard filled condom. Like there's
Aye, he's not as big as he thinks he is.
Well, that's the problem. He thinks he's massive. Like he's like that way when you're 17, you start to go to the gym and you think you're massive and you don't actually realise what a wee guy you are. Like the best shape
Hmm.
I ever thought I was in I was when I was 17. And looking back at it, I'm like, you were just a wee guy, skin down to bones. Like there was
Literally.
literally so, but But there's a thing. Like it's if anything, I like without being disrespectful, guys, not like not in tremendously terrible shape, but at the same time, like the argument could be, right, cool, you're in all right shape. But if you've got the genetics to get away with what you're getting away with, do you not think if we've done this over a period of time and actually we're more specific with things that you'd be in significantly better shape? Are we leaving
Mhm.
things on the table? So, yeah,
Do you know? Do you know what would make him get into better shape? Doing the very two things that he says is a lot of shit.
tracking and get more protein in them. Yeah.
And Keane hit back at him with actually a good point because he came in the comments and said, I only have 70 grams of protein a day. And Keane's like, how do you know you have 70 grams of protein a day if you don't track your macros?
Yeah, no, that was 100%. I seen that comment as well. Yeah, but here you actually forget like how mad and wild that some of the opinions are on the internet. Like I've started doing a bit of paid advertising, so my content's going to people who don't have a fucking clue who I am, and obviously it's very much as reels and it's in your face. So with that, I've noticed I'm getting a few comments in some of my reels. I'm getting my first wee bit of like hate as such, and it's like one of them was about having nutrition that allows you to burn fat and build muscle or whatever it was. And someone I seen it just coming up on my watch. It was a comment that went something like, "Let's not overcomplicate this. It's eat more, sorry, eat less and move more." But they spell eat as rat. Like I was looking at it like three times and I've obviously misspelled that. The time I've made a rule for myself about 3 years ago that I wouldn't argue with idiots on the internet. So the temptation straight away was a bit like yourself, mate, to go straight in there. And I was like, not going to do it. But I still clicked in the comment. By the time I clicked on it, I deleted it because obviously they spelt it wrong. So I mean, they kind of policed themselves in that regard. But like you look at anything, there's so many opinions online. Again, when it comes to food and when it comes to fitness, everybody has an opinion because naturally we've ate food all of our life and we all think, well, a large majority think we have a good handle on it when actually we don't.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I think the majority of people try to strive for perfection as well, which then makes things 100 times worse because when they can't hit that kind of 100% perfection, they then feel like a failure. And then it just goes backwards. They end up taking more steps back than they're taking forward. So it's just a vicious cycle.
Mate, 100%. I actually was going to do a wee reel on this as well, but I used to think if I didn't get protein in within 20 minutes of a gym session, it was a wasted
Mhm.
gym session. And I used to stress, mate. See if like I forgot my pro. I remember one day, I remember I forgot my protein shake with me, and my bus was running late, mate, and I was literally cold sweat on me, going, I'd done about 10 sets of 10 bicep curls, and I'm going to be losing my gains if I don't get a protein shake into me. And then there genuinely would be times where I'd be in the gym and I forget my protein shake, and I'd be like, well, there's no point in doing it anymore because I've not got protein there. And I know
Mhm.
that sounds silly to us now, but there's still so many people. It's like, oh, if I don't have supplements, there's no point in doing any sort of
Yeah,
exercise. If I don't have a gym membership, I can't afford a gym membership. There's no point in doing this. There's no point in doing whatever. And it's just the paralysis by analysis. There's so much information out there that it almost becomes overwhelming.
absolutely. Absolutely. You can't be missing your anabolic window, mate.
I've missed it for 2 minutes, you can tell.
But that's another one of these kind of bro science facts. Like this actually bleeds in perfectly to what we were just touching on there. Like anabolic window is just a bro science fact from these fucking dickheads in the gym who are unqualified and look like he works out. For anybody that doesn't know, anabolic window is the period and from when I'm going to butcher this, you might be better describing anabolic window, but I'm going to try, right?
One,
It's a period from when it's basically a wee window immediately after exercise that you need to get protein in to maximize your gains.
I think you explained that pretty well, mate. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Um, so yeah, what these gym bros say is you need to eat, I think it's half an hour in it. Within half an hour of finishing your workout, you need to get some sort of protein in to maximize your gains.
Sooner the better. 20 to 40 minutes is usually the
Cool.
I spoke to a performance nutritionist on this, and he did say he was like, look, if you had somebody and the nutrition was exactly the same year round, and you had somebody who took their post workout nutrition within 10 to 20 minutes of a workout, would you be able to tell a difference? Is like you probably would, but you're talking percentages. It's like 1 to 2, and you're talking at the top athletic range. You're not talking about your general, like general Joe Public Joe who's just got started in the gym. You're not going
Mhm.
to tell the difference between him being able to get a protein shake into him between 20 minutes after the gym, providing that all everything else is the same. It's just that like the biggest things that are relevant to him or her is making sure that they actually get there, they do things, and there's
Mhm.
enough protein in their day to day that actually makes a difference. Full stop.
Aye. And again, I was reading a paper on this the other day from Alan Aragon, and I can link it if you want me to link it because that's what I do. I
That's
back
what
up
I
what I'm saying.
do. That's what I do.
Uh,
The
so
postman
basically,
delivers.
like, exactly. So the real research basically shows that our muscles are actually sensitized to protein intake for at least 24 hours post-workout. So you don't have to worry about that half an hour window post-workout as long as you get it in within your 24-hour period. So focus on protein over the course of the day rather than protein post-exercise. And see if you have enough protein pre-workout as well. It actually negates how much you need post-workout.
Well, yeah, that's why they done the again, not going to butcher it and don't ask me for my studies because I'm not going to for you. But I'm pretty sure when I was at uni, there was a study that was seen that was on the anabolic effect of cardio by itself, weight training by itself, and then cardio plus weight training. So cardio plus weight training was
Mhm.
defined as like a high intensity circuit with like again like a kettlebell class could technically be defined as that. But I think it was like cardiovascular work by itself didn't have enough breakdown in your muscles to elicit an effect after post workout. So you'd find that like after the workout, you pretty much stop burning calories the moment you stop. So if you're doing a rowing, a running, a cycling, a skiing, you stop burning calories straight after. Resistance training, you
Mhm.
have an effect because you break down muscle mass. It takes time for you to shuttle nutrients to the muscle. Your body's essentially working. If you imagine your body's a construction site, there's now a lot of work and damage for the calories that you come in to have to do. If you combine both of them, as in doing something like that, there is an argument to say even doing 5 minutes of high intensity work at the end of a training session can help in terms of from a calorie burning point of view. But if you combine them both, you get essentially the best effects of both, and that can last. I think it's anywhere between 20 and 26 hours or something after.
Mhm. Aye. Um, I, I was listening to another podcast as well, and it was saying um, carb loading, sorry, carb cycling would be good for this. Like on your when you've trained, having a higher carb day after you train to help with the recovery, to help with the muscle building, to help with this, that, and the next thing, would make more sense than having it kind of before. And it's because of that very reason that you just said.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's one of the things that people actually. I've never been a massive fan of the training days. This is how many calories you have versus non-training
Mhm.
days, albeit I have implemented it for, again, case specific things, but I would say that recovery days are as important, if not more important, for performance than the day itself. So, unless you're very good at using sports nutrition on the day, and again, you're using easily digestible foods, I wouldn't say there's a massive, again, I don't want this to be clipped and used against me. I wouldn't say there's a massive benefit to having like an an extra increase in calories on the training day because you've always got reserve of calories in your body. We all typically have glycogen that has a reserve. Your muscles are full of glycogen. What you have the day before, how well recovered you are and ready to go in your nervous system on the day is probably far more relevant than having that extra 100 to 200 calories per day, if that makes sense.
Aye, absolutely, 100% agree with you. Shall we debunk another bro science fact as well since we're on the topic?
Ease it, because that's what you do.
That's what I do. Uh, Fasted cardio, best for burning fat. The bro science, and see if people don't know who we're referring to when we say gym bros. Imagine an upside down Dorito with two toothpicks for legs.
Johnny
It's
Bravo.
about it. Johnny Bravo. They skip leg day. They half rep all their reps, usually on gear. So yeah, just picture that in your head. But yeah, they seem to love fasted cardio and they seem to love walking on an incline on a treadmill whilst holding on and leaning back therefore wiping out the incline completely.
I've never, of all the shite I have done, and I have done a lot of shite. Sure, you know, I was wearing an altitude mask at one point in the past. I've done the shitiest of shite things. I've never done fasted cardio, not intentionally. I have done fasted cardio as a byproduct of just not eating, but I've not actually purposely went out and done fasted cardio. But yeah, what you've kind of said, like you will burn more fat doing fasted cardio for that period of time. However, the rules of a calorie deficit, and don't want to sound like James Smith here, is the moment you start eating again, then ultimately you're just going to put back on what you've lost. Really, there's swings and roundabouts. These type of things, I think, more give a psychological edge to people than there is any actual scientific proof to anything. So if you're finding that you're someone who's, I don't know, struggling or looking for an extra edge, like you not eating in the morning and moving is like 100% is going to prime you for the day. Your digestive system's not having to work. You're getting some fresh blood flow. You feel like you've accomplished something and it's pushing your food later in the day. There are four things that I would probably say have much more of an effect than fasted cardio itself. Fasted cardio is just a mechanism to allow those four things to happen without you fucking knowing about it.
Aye, 100%. And like the whole kind of fasted cardio burns more fat. Technically, scientifically, it is true, but it's not true in the way you might think. Like the body's main source of fuel is obviously carbs. So if we're deciding to get out and do quite an intense amount of exercise without fueling our body with carbs, our body's then going to tap into the fat stores for fuel. But burning fat and losing fat are two completely different things. And it's like you said, without that kind of energy balance, without looking at calories in, calories out, you're not going to lose fat, but no matter how much fasted cardio you're doing.
Here's a turn up for the books because you'll get two different camps. Whenever you go to one extreme, you'll get the opposite extreme. So the opposite argument to that is the science would say that having 20 to 30 grams of protein pre-workout, regardless of the workout you're doing, you're more likely to hold and retain, I think it's 20 to 60% more muscle mass than if you wouldn't. So the argument to you doing fasted cardio is the fact that you might be losing muscle mass or not gaining the muscle mass that you want to achieve long term. So if you looked at both that, no wonder people are fucking confused, because on one side people are telling you to have a protein for it, and the other end that people are telling you to go completely fasted. Where I would say is just patch both of them, because realistically, the truth lies in the middle. The most important thing is you get moving, that you eat within your calories, and you actually have a progressive, structured plan. You do those things. Going back to the keyboard gangster who typed out something to me, who then deleted it because he couldn't spell. Sorry, Gary, no offense. But maybe it was you. I didn't even see. Maybe it was you who messaged me. What was I going to say? But they are right in the sense that, like, the mechanism behind it all is to technically eat, I wouldn't say less, but eat better and move more. But I was thinking in my head, that's a bit like telling somebody to spend less to save money. Like, of course, that's true, but if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. So it's more of making sure that you actually like just have some simple rules for yourself. And I think that's what it all comes down to. It's like when we talked about New Year, neither of us set this big lofty, and I have done before, and you have done before, we've talked about it, but like I think last year it was like, or 2 years ago, it was like, because I was like, December's a busy period for me, as most people, in terms of drinking. I was like, I'm not going to drink all of January, and most Januaries I don't. And then it comes to like last year, I think we had like a friends thing, and it was like this week in the middle of January. I was like, who the fuck has a night out in the middle of January? We're sitting in this cold beer garden with no heaters on, and everybody around me was just getting crunked. And I was like, there's not a chance I am sitting here freezing my balls off on a Saturday night, know what to be here, and then end up absolutely scooping it. But then the mentality aspect to that is, in my head, I've frazzled it. So now that I've frazzled it, like, I'm like, right, well, cool. The doors are being opened. We're doing this every weekend or every whatever now, and that's not right either. So I've set myself some goals as to the person I want to be versus what I don't want to be, and make sure that you have a framework to who you want to be. If it's you want to lose body fat, what are the actions that you're going to be able to do that are going to allow you to lose body fat, and what are the things that are going to take away from it. A lot of people don't actually look at the things that are going to take away from it. So it might be the fact that you enjoy quite a few pints at the weekend, you enjoy your Percy pigs, whatever that may be. But life without Percy pigs, shite, absolute shite. I'm not even a massive sweet fan, and I love Percy pigs. But I think looking at that and going, right, cool, eating Percy pigs on a daily basis without tracking them isn't going to help me to be where I need to be. How do I incorporate that in and still have a vote for where I want to be? That makes sense?
Aye,
Yeah.
100%. It's very important to know your why of
Yeah.
why you're doing it, not just making this sometimes unachievable goal, and then going, right, I'm going to go for it. 2 weeks later, you're like, fuck, I've set the bar too high. I'm a failure. Boom, packet of Percy pigs every day.
On the Percy pigs.
Actually, that might segue nicely into like you want to talk about kind of pain points for people who feel like they failed with their New Year's resolutions already.
I think that a
Touch
lot.
on it.
Yeah, I think it's easy for a lot of people to feel when like probably important to know why people fail in the first place. So people fail in the first place because they don't have a structured plan. If there's two versions of you, let's say there's a version of you who is hoping to feel better, look better, lose body fat. And in another alternative universe, there's a version of you who wants all that but goes in with a plan. Which of those two people do you think actually is going to get there? No prizes for the fucking answer. We know it's a person with a plan. The problem is a lot of people go into these things without a plan. And when life happens to them, it's like what Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until they get punched. So it's like you need a solid plan that when you get punched in the face, you can keep moving forward. Because if you don't have a plan and you get punched in the face by life, which inevitably happens to us all, and usually that's why Quitters Week happened there, you're not going to get to where you want to be. So a lot of people at this point, they've went in, not had a plan, tried to do it by themselves. They've literally, if you asked yourself back, what did you do different to last year? The answers a lot of people don't actually know. They just were hoping that this time their willpower was enough,
Yeah.
which it wasn't. At that point, what does that do to you as a human being? You've now probably consecutively for 5 or 10 years tried this, and if anything, 10 years ago when you were desperate for it, you were still 5 kilos lighter than you are at the moment. So you're now got the same goal, but you've now got that and fat because you're literally you're worse off than where you wanted to be. So you didn't have a plan and you're worse off than where you want to be. So people probably feel a little bit broken right now. Do you want to go on to anything else, or do you want to add anything else to that at the moment?
I just want to touch on the failure thing. Like feeling like you've failed and actually failing are two completely separate things. Failing is you completely thrown in the towel, basically saying, fuck it, I'm becoming a hermit. I'm not going out. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. That is you failing. Feeling like you failed, you're probably confusing that with feelings of guilt. You're feeling guilty that you've not done what you said you're going to do. You're feeling a wee bit disappointed that you've not done what you said you're going to do. You're feeling a wee bit frustrated that it's harder than you thought it was going to be. Therefore, your motivation is taking a massive dip and you're finding it super challenging to regain it. So you're confusing these feelings with failure, and you've convinced yourself that you've actually failed when you haven't. Failure, it only happens when you completely give up. See, as long as you like shit is going to happen whether we like it or not. It's inevitable. It's how we bounce back for these situations that's going to make the biggest difference. As long as you keep brushing yourself off, getting back up, and fucking getting on with it, you have not failed. You're just struggling to get back to that level that you expected to be at the start of the year when motivation was super high. New year, new me, fucking yes, I'm going on Monday, boom, boom, boom. So you've not actually failed. So stop thinking you failed, stop telling yourself you failed, get back up, draw a line under it, and fucking try again, because that's all this is. Life is just a big game of trial and error until you find what works for you.
Mate, I was just picturing you the entire time with a soul tire on your face, mate. Just the part of the speech there. That was monumental. I enjoyed that.
Did that make sense what I was saying?
No, 100%. And actually, I think that just to follow up on that is there's there's lessons in failure, and the more, if you'd never learned the lesson, you are going to be a failure. So the lesson to be learned is what went well for you and what didn't go well for you. If you cut out everything and you felt marginally better in yourself for a while, then look, that's a positive. There's probably something in the fact that you have reduced an intake of something that's made you feel better. Where the lessons probably are is restricting to the point you've restricted, probably not the best idea. You probably didn't actually put a time frame in there either. Like, do you actually know what you're failing at? Like, is it just you went into January hoping that you were going to feel and look better without an actual time frame of what that looks like? Because if you restrict absolutely everything and you're hoping that that's going to happen by the end of January, it's not going to happen. It's like, if we're realistic about it and go, my life can change in the next 90 days, how does that actually look? If I look at, like, sure, if you work, the majority of people go 5 days on, 2 days off. Like, it's important to have little segments of breaking things up. And that's not you don't diet over Saturday and Sunday. It's more of a case of, let's look at what Saturday and Sunday looks like for you and how we can still get progress whilst maybe taking the foot off the gas a little bit. And if you can segment that over the period of 3 months, for instance, then yes, that's success. But nobody's ever going to have a clear run at it. And again, did you ask for help? Do you know people who've done that before who can help you as well? I think one of the key things is both of us have people in our life who've walked the path that we want to walk before. I think it's always important to have people who are above you in life, people below you in life that you can pull up in terms of inspire, people kind of alongside you, and also people above you to pull you up as well. If you don't have people that are above you, in the sense that people who motivate you, people who drag you, people who question your poor behaviours, then either find those people or pay for those people's time. And what I mean by that is, like, we're now at a point where it's the easiest and hardest to get in shape. It's the hardest because all of the food that we have is genetically modified. You've got like sauces, oils, chefs are trying to, like, I mean, you couldn't for the life of you just for a fiver get a 2,000 calorie meal like 100 years ago. Now you can get, like, you go to McDonald's and you get like a double cheeseburger, chips, and a milkshake, and I'm like, you've spent, I don't know what, £7, and you've got 2,000 calories in there, and that's just for one meal. And like, that's not necessarily your fault because it's bioengineered for you to enjoy that. The taste buds, everything kicks off. So it's in one way, it's the easiest time in life to be fat, unhealthy, and unhappy, but also it's the easiest time in life to get in shape, in the sense that there is more coaching out there available to you than there ever has. There's more education out there than there ever has. The internet has made things probably the easiest to access information as well. And also when it comes to low calorie foods, we also look at that and go, they are some of, like, I mean, it's almost like magic. You can get sauces that have 0 calories in them that taste like protein shakes. They didn't taste like that 10 years ago. I was spewing fucking drinking them 10 years ago. Like,
I
protein
know.
bars. Like, so yeah, I went on a wee bit of rant there, but I'll bring it back to you.
No, mate, that was fucking fantastic, and I completely agree with every single thing that you just said. There was a wee. Oh, you were talking about low calorie foods. That it just popped into my head. Have you seen? Is it Alex Saladino on Instagram recently?
I know.
Mate, he's been coming out and saying, broccoli's bad for you. It's shit for you. It fucks up your digestive system. Pretty much he's saying all veg is bad for you. All root veg and all that stuff as well. He's saying it's all mince for you. No mince. I shouldn't have used mince. That's a terrible term to use. All
I,
veg is meat, is
I,
what I
I
was saying.
I was going to say, I had a bird. I'm not going to refer to as a bird. I had a client. I had a woman who I had a coach who messaged me at Christmas time going, "Do you have any objection to me logging a Chinese chicken curry as broccoli?" I was like, "You fire on." But what was he going to say? Yeah, just remind me of that. But yeah, no, mince and veg are two very separate things. But
Aye.
um,
It's basically saying veg is shite for you. It doesn't do what everybody else is saying it does. So because you're saying obviously there's so much information stuff online, it's hard to know. There's a massive grey area as well. It's hard to know what's right and what's wrong, which is why if you are struggling with your resolutions or your fitness journey, ask for help. Ask for I'm not even going to say professional help because I wouldn't say we are professionals. We're not an app.
speak for yourself, mate. Speak for yourself. I've got
Speak for myself.
qualifications. I've got an achievement folder. Don't mind go and get them. Hold on. Show your medals.
Oh no. we are perfect. Do you know what I was thinking? We're not experts. That's what I was trying to say. We're not experts in our field because we're always learning. Things are always changing. Um, Sorry if I've just insulted you.
It's fine, mate. I'll get over it. It's all right. You continue with your point.
But ask for help because, yeah, like I say, there's so much shit on the internet that it's hard to know what's right and what's wrong, what works and what doesn't. And like I said before, like it's just a big game of trial and error until you find what works best for you. So if you go, let's say you ask one of your pals, right? Let's say I asked you, 10 years ago, right? You got off the booze 10 years ago. How did you do it? Now, us being guys 10 years ago, okay, you just need to do it. That is no help whatsoever. But if you ask somebody who can resonate with you on a more personal level or a professional, i.e. Kyle Watson, then yeah, you can you can get that help you need to build the step by step kind of plan as such to get you to where you want to be rather than just going at it cold turkey, asking people that are not going to be any help whatsoever. And then it doesn't help when you've got other people run about you going to just have one, just have one. One's not going to kill you, one's not going to hurt. And then before you know it, you're sitting in a freezing cold beer garden in the middle of January, absolutely tanked out your tits because everybody else is steaming on about you.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly, mate. I'm here for that, and I think just even touching on the person who said veg is bad for you, like that. You need to follow the clues and success. Yes, there's one person who can come out with these outlandish things, and ultimately, even as a
Mhm.
byproduct of us talking about them, they're getting some form of reach. And you'll always have people like that. Like I'm sure, I don't know, growing up and learning about sex education, I heard some mad things. It's like, oh, she can't get pregnant if she's on top and all that carry on. Like, if you but you could be online and you could say that, and who's going to counter you? It's like the majority of people know that's full of shite because it just would make no sense. It's so far against what you know in your head, but ultimately it might trigger somebody and go, "Well, maybe that's true." And you like
Mhm.
it's just one of those things that it's not. We're never going to be able to clamp down on idiots. Like realistically, you're not, and the message will be diluted by the fact that there are going to be idiots around there, and they've got more of a platform than they ever have.
Yeah.
What you always want to go back to, and again, being not an expert, but being a bachelor of science here, just throwing that out, Kyle Watson, BSc. The thing that we always want to refer back to is the science. Like, what is repeatable over time? So, before we had any of this shit, what kept people in shape? And it was literally the fact that we had a high protein diet, we ate fruit and veg, and we moved. Those are the three things.
Mhm.
We now are dealing with different circumstances and we no longer hunt our food. Well, at least maybe you do in your part of Glasgow, but here we don't hunt our food anymore. Um, we're not having to, we're probably the most comfortable we've ever been in the sense that you could theoretically live your life without ever leaving the house, which means we're comfortable. And the problem with comfort is like there's no growth that ever happens in comfort. So with all that, we want to look at what the lessons, what the exercises that people used to do back in the days. Like people always hinged, people always squatted, people always pressed.
Mhm.
Not necessarily with a barbell on the back, the barbell's just a tool. Not necessarily with dumbbells, but literally that's the type of exercise that they done. Let's take those three things in terms of your movement, your nutrition, and again, like I can't even remember the other thing that I said, but like we just want to make sure that we've got your ducks in a row that way. Nobody is ever going to reinvent the wheel. Broccoli wasn't bad for us 2,000 years ago. It's
Mhm.
yes, we do have chemicals and all that carry on, but there's chemicals in fucking everything. There's chemicals in your water, there's chemicals on your fruit, there's chemicals in your. You find me something that you like, unless you're growing things yourself, when personally I'm not growing things myself, unless you're growing things yourself, then you're always going to get chemicals on absolutely everything. So if the government wanted to kill you through the use of broccoli, it's probably easier to do it in the water systems, the bottled water that you're having, all that carry on, rather than your broccoli, because not enough fucking people eat broccoli in the first place.
Oh, 100%. And that's why everybody's immune system is shite.
100%. Gary for
But anyway, can I segue on to what you're talking about there as well? Like, just touching on like the social media side of things and how fucked up it actually is. I think that's got a lot to do with why people have already failed with their resolutions as well. Because fear of judgment and societal expectations. Like we worry too much about what other people think, and then let it get to us before we've even given ourselves a chance. Like we've already written ourselves off because we're worried about what other people are going to say about us. Um, I used to be bad for this as well, to be fair. Like I have been throughout my whole life, and back in my college days when I was there with your man. My defense mechanism would be, and you'll know this, sarcasm,
Yeah.
being cheeky, and just all round treating people like shit. Like, see, looking back on it now, I was a horrible little cunt. Sorry if anybody gets offended by the C word, but it's 2024, grow up. And I'm just I'm so glad that I eventually grew up myself. Like looking back now, I'm like, Jesus Christ, but it was literally just a defense mechanism because I wasn't happy in my own skin. I wasn't confident, even though I might have come across as confident. I wasn't. So my defense mechanism was just to be nasty to other people to make myself feel good. And that is what happens on social media all the time just now. You just get these keyboard gangsters hiding behind a phone, hiding behind a screen, and just being so shite to other people to make themselves feel worthy and feel good. So I think that's got a lot to do with why, especially on fitness journeys, especially like New Year, New Me, I'm starting my fitness journey, blah, blah, blah. That's why a lot of people have already chucked it 2 weeks into January.
I know that sounds mad, considering I use Instagram. Like, and if you looked at my
Mhm.
Instagram, you probably think that I'm on it all the time. I'm literally barely ever on Instagram. I don't go on my newsfeed, mate. I don't go on
Mm.
not like I've never seen a reel. I don't go on my newsfeed, but I barely. I'd say it's less than half an hour a day. You can see that I've actually looked at stuff because people say to me all the time, "Oh, did you see this?" I'm like, I didn't. I actually didn't. Like I go
Aye.
on, I post a
Aye.
story, I go on, I post a post, I message my whatever team, clients, whatever on Instagram. But between doing all that, I almost see it as work. The last thing I want to do is that. But also even before that, like I've never been one who like compares myself to other people, but I have noticed again getting into a wee loophole, and it's probably only happens once or twice a year where I'll find somebody that comes up or somebody will send me something, I look at it and go, Jesus, that person, like they're better than me at this. They are
Yeah.
better, they're better looking, they're this, they're that. And all of a sudden I go down a wee hole for it. And it was only like a wee 2 or 3 minutes, and I catch myself going, right, that's not ideal. Let's just take a wee step away from that. And again, it's even just a compare. We'll naturally go to compare ourselves. It's like it's a defense mechanism. We need to be the person who follows the herd. We need to be to be part of the tribe and to be part of the herd. We need to know what the herd looks like. And ultimately,
Hmm.
you're the people you're comparing yourself to aren't the people who are naturally the generalized person. They are at the top tier of where they are, but at the same time, I don't follow anybody who makes me feel like that, or I need to learn how to stop being so comparative on that side of things. I think if I'm getting it twice a year, I've coached many people who get it fucking twice a day, and I'm like, that's not good for you. That the fact that you're following them, actively seeking them out, and then comparing your behind the scenes to their like show reel, like
Aye, 100% agree with you as well. And I was exactly like that when I started a business. You've probably noticed as well. Well, you might not have noticed because you're not on Instagram enough, but I've posted twice, I think, in the last 3 weeks on my Instagram. And it's just because I've taken a step back from it. Because I'm focusing on other things. Because I found like being on Instagram a lot, it was oh, can you hear me still? I've a wee things popped up on my laptop.
I can still hear you.
Aye, aye, cool. It was fucking with my head. Like it was mashing my brain. I was feeling so unproductive. I was feeling so demotivated. My confidence was taking a massive hit, and it was just because I was comparing myself to others, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not as good as them. I don't look as good as them." So I took a wee step back from it, and it's been absolutely amazing. I know my online side of things, my online coaching has taken a bit of a hit, but you can't really what's the word I'm looking for here? You can't. I'm trying to say something like money to happiness and mental well-being.
All right.
Like my money's taking a hit, but my mental well-being is on the up, which to me is so much better for me than just having a big bank account. So I would say if you're finding yourself feeling super demotivated because you follow all these fitfluencers on Instagram, get them unfollowed. They are not worth a fuck. They don't know what they're talking about half the time. Neither do we, but you should trust us. Nah, I'm joking. We are professionals, remember. But
Experts
yeah, I
or
would.
experts.
But yeah, I would be worried. Like I didn't want to make rules in case somebody judged me and started slagging them off, which did actually happen. We touched on it in previous episode, remember? But that was actually good for me because then it made me realize, do you know what? It doesn't fucking matter what other people think. As long as I know what I'm doing and what I'm saying is helping. See if I help one, two people a year by my reels, I'm delighted with that.
Yeah, and actually going back into how you felt and talking about people who've messaged just because it's relevant on where we are. I look at some of the bigger fitfluencer people whose literally job is to make reels. And like I've got no, it's not an us v them thing. They're still human beings at the end of the day who ultimately you like them or you don't, and that's your prerogative. It's just about comparison.
Mhm.
But when you look at the comment section for a lot of them, I find it's really sad. Like it must, like I mean, your boy Tony McAlevey, you look at his stuff and I'm like, he's getting absolutely told to
Mhm.
shreds for a lot of his stuff. And whether you like him or not, like you can scroll by it without having to actually say anything. Like you wouldn't go up to anybody. I know the argument is, sorry, Diane, you put yourself in on the internet, you're there to be judged, but at the same time, like nobody who's in a good place is going to put you down. And like, so if
Mhm.
that's happening to somebody who I would say that 90% of males would want to look like again, I know that's a sweeping statement, but the majority of males probably would want to look more like him. But looking at the comment section, you'd think otherwise. Looking at you at your best shape when you were pretty much 2 weeks after the photo shoot, they had somebody commenting because the way you stood up during the squat when you were bracing, and apparently your belly was hanging out, which again,
Right.
it still had abs. But you look at those people and it's a reflection on how they feel about themselves because you know what, Gary, there's
Yeah.
always going to be somebody who's better looking and more muscular than you, but there's always going to be, even when you look at their stuff, they're getting slated.
Mhm.
And then you look at the people above them, they're getting slated. And it's always because the person who's slagging you or is saying things about you are always the people who are not doing well. And it's the same when it comes to like being this fitness person or being in the fitness career. A lot of people think that like there's no money involved in it and you just hang about in your joggy bottoms and count reps for people. And look, that's their prerogative. But I found that anybody who's ever kind of made that assumption about me or us are always people who are not in a good place themselves. And I'm like, sound
Yeah.
is what it is. But uh, where that's relative to the people listening is the fact that like when you start to do well, it's never going to be the people who are doing really well who are the ones who question you. It's going to be the people in life who are not doing so well. So if you find that you've got your auntie or your ma or like sister, cousin, partner who's slating you for what you're doing, putting aside the fact that they might have a point if you're being obsessive about it and you're not giving them any time, but looking at it is probably the fact that they are not in a good place themselves. Like I find that's
Aye.
usually the answer more than not. Would you agree with that, or would you? What?
Oh, I completely agree, 100%. It is 9 times out of 10, it's just to make themselves feel better. And that's why I kind of refer back to 10 years ago because I'd done the same, only I'd done it face to face.
Yeah.
But look, I've got one more thing that I want to kind of wrap this up with. Is there anything else that you want to touch on before we call it a day?
No, mate, I've got a jobby due in 10 minutes, so you're
Uh, aye, so I just want to wrap it up with this. It's very, very important to remember that your journey, no matter what journey you're on, it could be coming off the drink, it could be trying to build up a bit of fitness. No matter what journey you're on, your journey is for you and you alone. Nobody gives more fucks about your journey than you do. So as soon as you start doing things for yourself, be selfish, do things for yourself, because nobody else is going to put you number one. You need to put yourself number one. Stop trying to focus on pleasing others, and you're going to be in a much better place.
Mate, I'm going to be so disappointed if we post this reel or we post the advert for this today and you've not got the soul tire on your face with freedom above it, mate. That's it's another inspirational quote. I don't know whether to call you William Wallace or Aragon because you've charged the troops there. We're ready. We're ready to get going. Love that.
Because that's what I do.
That's what I do. Mate, get the salt tire on your face with the quote, that's what I do. That that tremendous. Mate,
Yeah,
I can't even possibly follow up on that, mate. That's like there's a reason that nobody spoke after Mel Gibson and Braveheart, and there's a reason that like go shut his mouth when Aragorn was speaking. That's fine, mate. You've done it. That's what you do.
I've redeemed myself for calling us unprofessional and not experts.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say you redeemed yourself for the time you didn't turn up, but still waiting on that, aren't we?
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. That's on me, that one. Anyway, look, I'm Kyle's got a job to do, and I've got my wee nephew to take to football very, very soon. So, shall we call it a day?
Yeah, mate, my mouse actually kicked the bucket there, so I couldn't actually get stopping, but I've got it now, so I'm going to stop recording. Cheers for listening. We'll be,
Thanks very much.
yeah, cheers. Speak soon.